It is the Fantasy Rugby Yanks. My name is Jared Dyke. I wanted to say it's stupid and let's move on, but then you kept going.
I'm Ben Glauser. I don't like the way anybody handled that.
Collusion. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It is the Fantasy Rugby Yanks. My name is Jared Dyke.
I'm Ben Glauser.
Let's do this thing. We don't have nearly as much to talk about, but we do.
We do. Not as much actual rugby to review, but some rugby to preview. And I gonna work up a thirst. So
missed out on that last week.
Yeah,
really,
both of
I
us
was
are
like,
drinking tonight.
I was kind of out of commission until like Saturday.
Damn.
Like in terms of like my sinuses and everything, it was annoying.
And
I was mostly energetic. I was certainly more energetic than I was Tuesday and Wednesday, the rest of the week. But man, shit didn't clear up until Saturday, probably.
Yeah, and it wasn't COVID. It was just
nope. Although it is going around quite a bit.
It is. I'm masking up again, and pretty much anywhere I go at this point. Because I'm like, yeah, fuck it. I don't really want to deal with that shit.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, we have other things to get to.
Right.
Download, rate, review, share. We appreciate everybody that does all that stuff for us.
Yeah. George, thank you so much for
of course,
telling other people to do the same. So I know we haven't gotten to George, but at the same time, look, if George is telling you to download, rate, review, and listen to us, please do.
Yes. And those that have missed the triumphant return, he is back. He's jumped back into Six Nations. So we're excited to see George back and doing his thing. While he's back, and now that he's officially back, if you weren't supporting him before, make sure that you buy him a coffee and help the man out because, well, he deserves it and puts a lot of hard work in, as you can see by just that one tweet thread that he put out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he works hard for his money, so you better treat him right.
Yeah, so do right by him and grab him a coffee or beer, however you wish to see it. There is no discrimination on this podcast, nor should there be in sports or in life. Last week we had our pick of the litter of the not so good stuff, but this week let's shift towards a more positive note. And Campbell Johnson coming out and trying to normalize it more for players, for Kiwis in particular, I believe is really his aim, obviously.
Yep.
Being a Kiwi, being an All Black, but just, it's, I do hope there is one day where more players just feel more comfortable while they're playing to do it, because unfortunately a lot of them are just coming out afterwards, and that's really hard. And I get it. And I'm not criticizing them. I'm not saying that it's wrong. What I'm saying is I want to move us in a way forward where it's okay to come out much earlier than your retirement,
Right. And that is the point of this segment, is to, no discrimination means we're creating an environment where people are comfortable to be themselves. Like that's the essence of this, that he, we need to make rugby and life, our environment, to be welcoming and accepting, so that people don't have to hide who they are. People don't have to feel shame about who they are. That's crazy. It's not right. And so let's make that environment. So, and rugby, in my opinion, has come a long way and has been good for it. As far as good about building the environment. It's not perfect, obviously.
Nope.
But I feel like rugby has changed since I joined it 20 years ago or so, give or take a couple of years. But it's like, yeah, I think we're moving in the right direction, and it's especially an All Black comes out, you can't turn away from that now. It makes the things like what Izzy Folau does and others, why we don't want them around, because they're not creating a place where everyone can feel free to be themselves. There's exclusionary and discriminatory practices. So let's end that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, so good on him. And
Mhm.
yeah, like I said, and for it's nice when he's a forward too. You know, it
Yeah, right.
doesn't need to just be a back. It can be a forward. It can be any of them. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
You know, just let's not stereotype shit. It can be any player. So good on him. And it sounds like he's going to carry that torch down there in New Zealand for a little while. And I hope much good comes of it. I'm sure it will. And that's
Right.
that's
Sure.
something that we can all celebrate. And then finally, don't forget, grab our Patreon. Go ahead and look over there. Boom Bust is not up. I will get up tomorrow. Work took precedence this week. I
Right.
had a big thing going on
Well,
with work. So
yeah, there's also no Prem this weekend, so it's
no, but still, it's
okay.
nice to get it up there.
It is.
So,
And
and
we'll get
then
the sheet up there this week too, even though
yes,
there's no
we'll
Prem
have
this
that.
weekend.
But then people can make decisions and stuff.
Exactly.
You know. So, but yes, grab our Patreon. The good stuff is going to be up soon. If it's not, I will.
Mm-hmm.
I should be able to do rankings. And if I'm very smart about it, I should be able to do rankings for both Super Brew and Six Nations official. So
Nice.
I will do my damnedest. And if it's a problem, sorry, I tried. I'll at least get Super Brew up. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
That's my main objective, is to get Super Brew first, which we will talk about in the fantasy corner. But let's talk about Six Nations right now.
Is that happening?
Yeah, supposedly it's happening this weekend. It's a very highly anticipated Six Nations, and I don't think we can say it was the same for the 2019 Six Nations either, not to this scale. And maybe that's just because it's a recency effect in my brain, and that is a possibility.
No, but there's so much more consequential shit going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's two coaches that have been let go / brought in just in the last couple of weeks. And then there's questions around Ireland, and there's questions around France as to whether or not they peaked too early. It doesn't look like Ireland did, but again, that's just their club at the club level anyway. They fucking look strong. The players that they have are playing reasonably well, but it's Ireland. They we've seen this before, right? Where this is the turn, and suddenly it just all goes to shit. So that's just going to be one of those. Can Ireland not do that?
Right, which we'll yammer about for when we get to them. Yeah, it's just there really is a lot going on with this. We have England with a new coach,
right?
We have France with that's maybe playing their best rugby in a long time. You have Ireland, who did they peak too early? Didn't they? This looks like they might finally break that hex. We'll find out.
Right, and if they're still either ascending or they're at their peak and they're ready to go,
and and they can just stay at
good
that.
Fucking luck, everyone else.
Right. We have Italy, who's playing definitely the best rugby they've played in a long time. And then we have Wales, who needs to kind of right the ship, and they have Gatlin back, and they've gotten rid of Pivac. So there's really a clear storyline for each team this go around. I'm not sure that was the case. Certainly the last couple of years, you get distracted and all that. Oh, you dig up storylines when you're bored, like the times with COVID.
There's Scotland too. We shouldn't forget about Scotland. I don't know
and Scotland's got,
but
they have, and really, I think they're the only one that doesn't have a clear storyline. Although there's the whole Townsend versus Finn thing, and that's been going for a while. It's just now getting to the peak,
right?
So maybe that's the one that you can consider for that. But maybe that's why I skipped over Scotland by accident, because there isn't quite one.
Maitland's on their roster. Anyway, sorry, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. So let's talk. We'll go alphabetical here. So let's talk England, and we don't even need to look at like the sheet from the team from the Six Nations site. We can look at their most recent squad that has been retained by Steve Borthwick, and they're 29. Interesting names that are here, interesting names that aren't here.
I love the names that I'm not seeing.
Yeah,
Gotta
well,
say, love him.
I'm not arguing with that.
Like no Noel, no May,
Hmm.
no Hill. That the Hill is actually the surprise at this point. We knew Noel, no May. But yeah, Hill dropped for this match. I really like what they're that's 29. This is a good 29.
Hmm.
And to me, there's an easy 6 to drop off, but that's for me. I can't, you know.
Yeah, I don't have any
We'll
real
see.
problem.
I
Really, the one or two problems I have, I can
Mhm.
overlook for the overall
Right,
um positives of the squad.
right.
So
Like oh, and I saw a rumor that Ben Curry is starting at 7.
okay,
So with Ludlam
interesting.
at 6, which would be an interesting to me
Hmm.
lineup. I'm
Okay,
not.
I kind of like
I,
that pairing, honestly.
I kind of do, but well, maybe it's against Scotland thing. I'm not sure, but and with Ben Earl's going to be on the bench, and I'm like, I like Earl
Yeah,
over
no,
Ben,
and
but well over Curry. Wow, that's not fair.
yeah,
Two Bens. But yeah, we'll see. We'll have to see
yeah,
what that if that's a an actual report or if that's just some reporter trying to be first with news that's not exactly
maybe.
accurate.
Yeah, I will say, as much as I want Earl to start, he is of the back rowers here. He's probably the
Mhm.
most versatile.
Right.
Maybe Sam Simmons is the other one, but like the two of them are pretty much they're not the same, but they're very versatile. Just
Right.
their versatility is matched, I would say. Let's put it that way. In terms of they can play probably across the back row, should they be assigned to do so.
I agree. Yeah.
So yeah,
And we got at lock, like, so I'm guessing of the locks, it's either Ezekwe or Chasm is the odd man out, because I'd have to think it's Itoje and Ribbons
I would love to see Ribbons in there.
as the starters, and then the question is who's the reserve there, the other
Mhm.
two.
Correct.
We know.
And maybe Borthwick goes with 6, which I hope not. I don't love a 6 player 6 forward bench. I know it's getting
Yeah.
more popular now, but I'm still not a fan of it myself.
Right. Right. Yeah. It ends up, you always, every time we see it happen, they're all, something happens with the backs, and they're always like, oh well, maybe if they had a back on the bench, it's like, there you go. Like, did you
Right.
really need another forward? um But yeah, speaking of the backs, I mean, it's awesome to see that Finn Smith has been retained.
Yeah.
Unlikely that he'll make the roster, but I think that's a good thing for him to go through those motions of
This is
being
a
a
match
part,
week prep in a national squad.
right? And then a game day prep, like every little part of it, he'll be around for. He'll warm up with the team,
Hmm.
so like he'll see everything except the match itself, which is
Right.
match play itself. But that's excellent. That's what you want to do for young players like that.
All right. So let's assume that Freddie is your fullback. Your other wings
Yep.
are
Malins and Hassel Collins.
okay.
I don't think that's how he'll go, but that's who I would take of these people.
And honestly, if it's any combination of the 4 wings that remain, not the 4 back 3 players that aren't Freddie
Right?
Stewart, it's
Yeah.
really hard to hate it.
I right. What am I going to argue of Freeman? And like, if Freeman's starting
Hmm.
instead of Malins, I
He
can't.
is a
I
monster.
can't argue that.
Right.
The only thing I don't like about Watson is that he keeps getting broken, and that's
Right.
to
And
me
that's
unreliable. That's like, you
yeah,
don't
that
want to have
does.
that in an international match, right? Where a guy has to come out after 20 minutes because something
Hmm.
happened,
Yeah.
and it's not. He's been looking amazing. It's just that to me, like, if that kills a team, especially if you go 6-2. If they go 6-2 and Watson's out there, I'm gonna not. I'll have criticisms.
Right. Yeah. I think that's definitely a big thing. If you're going to go 6
Yeah.
2 and you have a guy that has a fairly notable track record of getting hurt, you're really putting yourself behind the 8 ball and you're just
Yeah.
asking for trouble. So just
Right.
something to keep in mind when you do something like that for sure.
And looking at this, I gotta think they're going with Marcus to Farrell.
Hmm.
Because to me, it's like, I don't really like Tui so much at this. I think at this point in their careers, Farrell is the better inside center than Manu. And Lawrence was a late call up, so obviously they like Tui over Lawrence. So I can't imagine Lawrence is going to play
Right.
12 or 13.
No. And I mean, if I were to put the two of them together right now, I'd put Lawrence ahead of Tui. And that's based on what I've
Yeah,
seen in
I
both of
agree.
them for the Prem. And Lawrence
Right.
has been dynamic and powerful and everything that Bath need right now. And
Mhm.
Tui has just kind of been very quiet. And
Yeah.
sometimes there's something to say about a guy going about his business quietly, but he's
That's
not
his
that type
game.
of player that he's billed
Yeah.
at. So
Right. When
that's
he's
the
at his
problem.
when he's on form, you can't not notice him. But
Mm,
it's been a couple years since he's been on that kind of form.
really, yes.
So I feel like um he's getting named mostly for his name. I don't think it's for his play anymore. And well, obviously his experience level, but yeah, I think he's got better, more dynamic options. And aside from the tackling issue that Farrell has, his defense, the legality of his tackles, his defensive tackling is outstanding. So to
Mhm.
me, that's it's Smith to Farrell to Marchant. I mean, is there another 13 on this team? I don't see it. So
Lawrence can play 13.
yeah, he could. Oh no, that's what I mean. Like, well, no, I'm sorry. Yes, he could play 13, but that's like now you've got two 12s out there, which is
Mhm.
mhm,
Yeah, it can be a problem.
yeah.
Can be a problem for sure. Let's go to the defending champions, France. I haven't seen any news of a squad reduction yet. Doesn't
Me
mean we won't
neither.
get it, or we
Right.
won't get it tomorrow by the time this is published.
Yeah. So
So let's have a look at it just the same. Um, so it's the position I'm automatically drawn to myself when I look at the France team is who else did they bring in at halfback that's not named Dupont?
right.
And we have
I
Kuyu
see.
and Cully, and Cully is
Yeah.
the young kid that we saw playing in Montpellier.
Hmm.
Cully has been around here or there, so not a new face necessarily. He's got what 14 caps, something like that.
Hmm.
11, excuse me. So
Double digits.
it'll be obviously it's always interesting to see who's going to play that backup role to Dupont, and at this point, France just need to manage his minutes
Hmm.
and then hope that when he goes back to Toulouse that he doesn't break.
Pretty much. Pretty much. I
And
mean, you
that'll
can.
just be great for them.
Mhm.
Anyway, you cut it. Let me see. Can I sort this? Yes, I can.
Well, they also have Legaric. You didn't mention him.
Oh, I missed that one.
That's another 9 that they can roll out there if they need to.
Okay, I did. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Oh, interesting. I did not realize they called him in. Huh.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. I mean, that let's be real. Let's be honest. That's a bad Rossing team. So
Right.
to
And
see,
I think he's played well. At least he looks decent in the Champions Cup, but
that's true.
he's been one of the bright spots for
Mm,
Rossing, really.
yep, no question.
One of the few. Maybe the only.
Um, and the other one I like to look at because I think their out and out number one is unquestioned is Hook, and
Mm.
Marchand is their guy. They've called
Hmm.
in Bobany and Barlow and not hit. I think Mabaka's hurt, so that's why he's not in there.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of people would maybe said that maybe recalling Shot or Boogery or calling Boogery up would be another one as well. But this is what Gautier's gone with. It's unquestionable Marchand's won, so it's going to
Right.
be a matter of just getting these other guys a little bit of time here.
Right.
We got the two of them have 5 appearances between them, so
Well, they're gonna have a little bit more.
yep. Marchand's got 26. Do they have anybody? Yeah, Fiku might not be the captain, but he's the unquestioned leader of this
Hmm.
team in many ways. Certainly that back line and that defense is a big one for him. He's got 75. He's without a doubt the most cap player in the team. Dupont's not even close, and I think he's the next one.
Yeah.
And Antonio and he are right there in the mid 40s, and everybody else is like 30s and 20s.
Damn. Yeah, the list I'm on does not have their caps. So
Yeah, I got it here. It's pretty nuts.
hmm. What's Aldrit?
36.
Okay.
He's 36. Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
basically it's been unremovable from the squad since he made his introduction, but
Right.
yeah.
It just hasn't been that long ago.
No. No.
Oh. For
Looking at
me, the
this.
question with this team, and there's a couple that I have this question of, and I kind of England are in the same boat, so don't want to just leave them out of it. But locks, I think, are going to be at a premium. I don't know that there's really I mean, Valemsa for France, yes, obviously.
Yes.
But who's the other lock?
Tough for Noah.
Yeah, I and or Flement, well, she might be on the bench too. But it's the question is, how well they're going to play to
Mm-hmm.
me, and
Yeah.
it's going this is going to be a lot. I think that's going to be a key position in this tournament, just because there's like each team has one. Well, most of these teams have one stud, and then the question is who's the other guy, and are they going to be impactful?
Yeah.
I feel like that's the way a lot of these, at least just the names that I'm seeing, I haven't seen play
Right.
all that well recently.
And Wilkie is out for this
Right.
tournament as well, so that's a huge blow.
That's part
Don't
of the reason.
underestimate that.
Yeah, right. That plays right into it. It's just like laws for England. Itoje and laws. Yes, please and thank you. And
Right.
not I'm not saying anything about Ribbons um or Nikki or Chesum, but I mean laws is on another level.
Yep.
So that's
Yep.
and we'll go through the other teams too, but I just wanted to point that out.
I think they know their back row though. It's gonna be Olivon, Cretin, and Aldrit probably. That'd be my wild ass guess. And there's plenty of other talent to pick from, but maybe they don't. Maybe they go with Macalou or trying to think Cross. We know what he's got.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they go with Kamara up a little bit. That's a possibility as well. But I think for what you want to
when you're playing,
establish,
right. When you're playing like Scotland or Italy or Wales, maybe you kind of throw some other people out there just to give them a run. But when you're playing, the England and Ireland, yeah, you're gonna want your top.
Yeah, I've got those two. I've got those two games circled big time. The England and Ireland game for France. Another a newbie is one you and I got to know a little too well is the Domertier kid from Leon, Ethan Domertier, uncapped. Might see him this weekend because they're playing Italy. This might be where we see some of the new guys thrown into the mix and see what they got. So we might see Coley as the backup 9, or maybe he starts. I don't think Gautier has not really started somebody not named Dupont when he didn't need to.
Yeah.
So maybe not, but point being.
Right.
It'd be interesting to see that. Let's go to the Irish. They've already had to make a change, I think. Was it Kelleher that's been rolled out, or was it Sheehan? One of the Leinster hookers.
I think it was Kelleher.
Okay, so he's been ruled out for at least a little bit here. So they had to recall the Ulster guy, Stewart. Yep, there he is right there. So he, again, could be on for his debut, which would be great. I don't know if he'll get it this weekend, but possibility. Jamie Osborne, after performing so well thus far this season, he gets in there. O'Brien's back.
It helps that what's his butt's injured.
Henshaw,
yeah. I mean, it helps.
Helps them. It helps these kids, but it doesn't necessarily help Ireland.
Right.
We know we won't see Sexton for a little bit at least. He's a doubt for this weekend at the very least. Although we'll see, maybe he comes fit.
Maybe
busted that cheek pretty good.
Right. That's apparent that he might play. I'm
see how that goes.
I saw whispers and rumors today.
And if not, it's not even Joey Carberry. He's been left out of the squad.
Yeah.
It's Crowley or Byrne. Crowley, who has a grand total of 2 appearances, and
Mhm.
Byrne, who has a little bit more with 17, against what some might consider a revamped Wales squad. We'll get to them and their team and all that stuff in a minute. So, yeah, it's going to be.
So then back to my theme of this. Who's at lock?
Well, it's probably going to be James Ryan.
James Ryan's probably in there. And
then Byrne
Byrne
or Henderson.
or Henderson.
Either
Yeah.
or.
Right.
It's those 3.
But like I don't know. Like Ryan's been pretty good. No, no, nothing to take away from that. Byrne and Henderson have not been to at least the standard that I set for them. I've been very disappointed by them lately. So the question
Henderson's
is, does
been
Byrne
banged up, I think.
Yeah, he agreed, and kind of plays into it. Byrne though has been not up again, not up to standard for him. So that's the question. So you have James Ryan, you have your one guy who you're going to expect shit from.
Mm-hmm.
Does Byrne or Henderson step up? And that again, that's going to determine where they the seedings ultimately. Are they 1, 2, or 3?
Right. Yeah, my instinct says Byrne.
Mine too. And like my instinct is Byrne, and yes, he steps up. Like that's
I'm sure he will.
Right. Like
I'm sure he will. Yeah.
Right.
I don't have I don't have too much doubt when it comes to Ty Byrne myself.
Mm-hmm.
But we also have, let's not forget, the reigning player of the year as well in the back row here.
I'm not familiar with
the Flying Dutchman.
The Trying Dutchman. Yeah.
Yeah, the Trying Dutchman, indeed. And again, we talked about it in the Champions Cup the other week, like just a plethora of problems here in terms of who do I pick. Most of them are in good form. Mm-hmm. Like, all the Leinster guys that came in are in good form. Then you have Pendergast, who's pretty good. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know what you do. Omani, like, how do you? It's hard to leave him off the sheet.
It is.
Like,
but to me, I would go. Who is it? Where are they? Sorry, this is a weird list. I should have picked a better one. But like Doris, Conan, and Van der Fleer, like that's. But can you really count out Coombs? Can you really count out? Right. And then I would have Omani on the bench, but
yep.
That to me would be the 4. But at the same time, that's to me, have Doris and Conan are almost boring because of Josh Van der Fleer. So it's like maybe you want a different, more of a splash player than a grinder like they are. Not that they can get loose a little bit, but it's usually because they've run someone over. So yeah, I'm wondering if we get like a Coombs who knows he can. Seen him find some space, even when there doesn't appear to be any. And I think you have to have Omani out there as a reserve.
Yep.
At this point, not a starter. I wouldn't have him start. Mostly because of his age and he's more of at the international level. To me, he's like a 20-minute player now, 20 to 30.
Mm-hmm.
I would not want him to be 50 or 60.
Right. And then we have, this might be a little bit hyperbole, but the inform center in Europe, Gary Ringrose. I don't know if there's many better at the moment. I'm struggling to think of someone else that's in better form in the midfield than Ringrose.
I got nothing for you. I mean, maybe like maybe Marchant has a hand up, but I don't know that it's a hand I would call on exactly. Like I don't know that I would say yes to it.
Right.
He's like getting close-ish, but he's not. No. Ringrose has been untouchable.
Yeah, he's been quite good. And the question will be for that one is, who do you pair with him? And then the back three for them is littered again. Again, Jacob Stockdale's healthy again. Like O'Brien's is another young
Yep.
kids. Lowe, Larmer, Hugo Keenan
is Mac
Hansen. Keith Earls returns as a steady hand. Like, wow.
Yeah. To me, Earls is there. If I'm in that position, Earls is more of the coach on the field or the coach in the dressing room kind of thing, and at training, rather than I wouldn't. I don't. But
no, having him there is not a bad idea, but I'm not sure he makes the team.
Yeah.
Old Dan, reliable what's up?
I mean, because you're going to want guys like, all the people we just listed, you're going to want them to get experience because you're going to need them in the World Cup.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it's like, what good does Keith Earls being out there do for you? Like, he knows if he needs to play in the World Cup, fuck it, throw him out there. He knows the drill. Nothing will be a surprise to him.
Mm-hmm.
These kids, though, need to get a little.
They need the experience that they can get. Yep.
Right. Get some teething in.
I agree. And
there's no more place to do it until
you're kind of
the World Cup.
This
so.
and
I mean, a couple of friendlies, but
the warm-ups, that's it.
Yeah.
Let's go to Italy. A very intriguing team, to say the least. Most caps on the team is Tommy Allen with 66.
Wow.
Make sure I don't have that.
Hey, I actually see caps here. That's crazy.
There you go. Look at you.
Well, not on this for some reason. Yeah, thank you, Rugby World, for putting it on one of them.
Oh, yeah. No, the Six Nations site has caps listed. So
I should have gone.
Lorenzo Canoni was kind of one of the forwards that came out in the last few years, or last year, I should say. Sorry. We have both the Garbices now. We know what
two sets of brothers then, huh?
Yeah, we know what Lamoureux brings to the table. Pelledri's back in the squad, which is great. They have and this has been their problem since word go. Their top line players are almost all brilliant and almost all guys you can count on and guys that will do the job against any team and keep you in it and possibly win it.
Right.
The problem has now been what happens when one of those guys is not available, and they're turning the corner a little bit, has to be said.
Right. They've got a full 15. The question is, do they have a full 23 and beyond that, like a 29 if they need that money for this tournament? Because they got the front, as you said, frontline guys. They're solid. It's a question of, what I recall from them from the fall was once they needed to make subs, shit went bad. So that's something they're going to have to improve on. I think they can. I think they have Riccioni's out, right? Oh no, there he is.
Yeah, he picked up a knock against Edinburgh, but he is in the team.
Right.
So hopefully we see him.
Like that'll be a big pickup for them too. Again, Pelledri, as we mentioned, like if he can get that going.
Right.
But then you look at the midfield, you got like Brex and you have Maurici available too, but then it's what do you got after that?
Right.
If you need to replace one of those two, who's coming in? And is it what, Minozzi? Or all I can remember is him being mediocre. I can't remember what position he was in.
It's a fullback, yeah.
Okay.
But, so they're not going to so this is one of the things, unfortunately, they're not going to have Monty Ioani, which is a huge thing. He's not available. He did move back to Australia, but he said he would be available, but obviously it's not come good this side of it, at least. So maybe he gets recalled as the tournament goes.
Right. Or maybe he'll come back for the World Cup.
Yeah, and maybe that's the idea. Who
maybe
knows?
He's just not available for this tournament.
Possibility.
Right.
So then you have Minazzi. Okay, that's one of you guys. But Padovani's in there
Padovani.
as the back row. Obviously Capuzzo is in there.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot to like. Pierre Bruno was quite good last time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you got to wait for. Yeah, I think the one problem is who you partner with. Brex is unquestionably in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big problem for them because yes, it's probably Morrissey. Honestly, even though he's older,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's probably going to be your frontline guy. And even though he's not amazing, I I don't know who else you put in there. you know,
me neither. Unless you do something like you put like if you want to play both Garbisi and Allen, and you can put one of them at fullback, and then you can
right?
slide out, Padovani and Capozzo on the wings or something, and then you can bring, maybe you throw Minozzi out the 13, or you putting him at 13 at wing and put like, someone like a
Mhm.
Padovani, like do almost like how they brought George North into 13. Wales did do something like that. That's
Yeah,
always an option. That might be the best way to attack some of these teams anyway.
yeah. That'll require a slightly bigger body. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Pierre Bruno might do the job in that case
Mm-hmm.
in terms of just general size. So that option is out there.
Mm-hmm.
They called in some young centers from the two
Yeah.
Italian teams. So it'll be interesting to see
Right.
who they go with. Undoubtedly, their combination is going to be, no, maybe not undoubtedly anymore because we have both RBCs in the team now. But
Yep.
I think Paulo will be 10 and
Mm-hmm.
Varney will be 9. I think the fact that they have Alessandro Garbisi available as a 9 is
Mm-hmm.
pretty awesome and also gives them the depth that they need at that position.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe they really had a ton of it. I know Braley's part of the international setup for Italy, but not quite that level that talent level that Alessandro Garbisi possesses is not just this. Yeah, Braley doesn't match it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just facts. Let's go to the Scots. See, we didn't forget about the Scots. Um, I mean,
Sean
plenty to
Maitland's on
talk
this
about.
team. I don't
What's
quite
up?
understand. Sean Maitland's on this team, and
So it's Kyle Stain. I don't love him either. So
yeah. Um, okay. Either way, but they got to be just camp bodies because there's enough, out there. Like fuck, Rory McConaughey. I love seeing Rory McConaughey out
yeah,
there.
that's great. I'm glad he got a chance to switch. People are shitting on the whole thing. It's like, dude, he got capped
Mm-hmm.
what 3 times
Mm-hmm.
at the World Cup and has not seen an England shirt or a camp really
Right.
since. And I
No,
know he's been banged up, and that's another one of those things that you
but
want
that's
a guy like him available, but
yeah. It's a total Eddie move, though.
it is.
That's
It's
the
a very
shit that he
it is.
pulls of, oh, I'll just, like I'll keep them in reserve. I got them locked in. I'll just keep them in and not use them ever again. It's like, fuck. I'm so happy to see Ezekwe back in there and some of these other guys who got dropped way too. Earl, like, what the fuck is he doing? So no, like, good for McConaughey. He's protecting himself, and you know what? He'll play eventually. Like, he'll work his way into that starting roster for Scotland. Maybe
Mhm.
even by the World Cup if he can play the way he can play. Um, it's going to be hard to take him out given the other
Mhm.
options.
Well, because you have Duhan's
Duhan,
available.
yeah,
You have Kinghorn,
he's pretty good. Yeah,
and then it's going to
but that's
be a battle for that third spot. And most people will say Hog, and that's probably what's going to
mm,
happen.
yeah, it's probably going to happen, but
Doesn't mean it's a good idea.
right,
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
right. It's you don't have to do it just because he's been there in the past. Like it really is time to move on. He's not effective at the Prem level anymore. I can't remember the last time he was a difference maker at the international level. I just can't remember when that was.
Right.
There's been a lot of drop tries. There's been a lot of meh play.
It's
He
not a
can't really
joke
bring it.
anymore. Like you said that, like when we were talking
Yeah.
about him not too long ago, like it's not a joke anymore.
No, now
You
it's who he
know,
is. Like,
it is.
um, and that's sad, but it happens
Mhm.
to everybody.
Right.
It's just, yeah. Yeah, look at Tom Brady out there. It happens. And sometimes, maybe not always as late as Tom, but that's the thing. Stewart is that's not a position for old heads.
No.
15. That's a young
No.
man's position.
Yeah, you got to be able to move. Even and sometimes when you get to a certain age, you can read the game better than the youngins can, so you make up for it with that.
Right.
But
But he's not executing on it anymore.
right,
He can read it all he wants, but like even if he reads it now, his either his hands are betraying him or his lack of speed is.
right. Let's go to the back row. I'm gonna throw the names out there,
Mm.
and the first three that you want in your back row, you can tell me. Bayless, Christie, Crosby, Fagerson, Dempsey, Watson, Richie.
Watson and Richie are in.
Yep.
There's no like that's no question about
If
it.
they're healthy, they're in.
Right.
So that leaves
Um,
you with Fagerson, Dempsey, Crosby, Christie, and Bayless.
I gotta say, I think I could go Crosby.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah, I
not.
thought he
I mean,
played pretty damn well
I,
for Edinburgh.
I'm also not a. I don't see it with Andy Christie. He's a solid player, not and maybe someone who can develop into something. But at the moment, he's kind of a jag.
He's
Um,
23, so he could
exactly.
still got
Yeah.
some
I mean,
years.
that's like that's yes, that's impressive for his age. Um, but
He's
it's
still
like
got some
he's
growing.
not. Yeah, right. He's not like, and I guess yeah, Theo's a little older than that anyway. But like Ben Earl isn't that much older than them. He was what 24, 25.
Mm-hmm.
Like he could get there, but for now he's still there's still development to be done, and I'm not sure this is the place for it. I'd look for 2027 for him to be potentially a starter.
Yeah.
For
Unfortunately,
a
I think
World
we're going
Cup.
to see
But,
Dempsey and Fagerson, which neither one of them blow my skirt up. That's for sure.
right. Uh, I'm not. Yeah, Fagerson don't like it.
Yeah.
Dempsey I can
Water.
live with. Right. Major jag.
Yeah, Dempsey.
Major
I
jag.
wasn't impressed in the fall with Dempsey.
Yeah.
Not at all. Uh, a name that most Irish fans will be putting their hand up to jump up and down and talk about, Ben Healy, who's made the switch for Scotland from Ireland. I think we're looking at the replacement for Finn when Finn's done, and probably Finn may have a few more years left in him yet, anyway.
Agreed.
But still, so it's going to be a good place for Ben Healy to see an international 10, despite the fact that Finn is considered the Maverick. It doesn't matter; he's still an international 10. I can see his preparation process and all that stuff.
Right.
So,
and Healy's 23 also. So
yes, loads of growth to be done for him as well.
yeah.
And I have to say, I do like what I see out of him when I watch him play for Munster. So it is a huge blow, in my opinion, for Irish rugby. And yes, they have some guys waiting in the wings for when Sexton's done. So it's not like they're going to miss him a ton, but
right.
I think he might have been a little bit more closer to the top than people think.
I forgot to ask my question.
What's that?
Who's at lock?
Well, Johnny Gray.
Yeah.
And then Sam Skinner, if I can help it.
I'd like Skinner.
I don't want Gilchrist. People love Gilchrist, and I don't see it.
I don't see it either.
No thanks. I would much rather have Sam Skinner.
So my question is, does Sam Skinner? I wasn't terribly impressed with him in Champions Cup, which is to me that's the closest we're going to get to international play from for recent form. So I'm just I'm nervous about him, whether or not he can show up. Although it's a little bit different for Scotland because there's other problems. So the whoever their lock is not nearly as much of a concern, and how well they play is not nearly as much of a concern as say, England or France or Ireland. But it would go a long way to helping if Skinner could put his hand up and say, yeah, that's mine.
Right.
Like, we're done here.
And I'm basing it on what I've seen from him before. And, the
Right.
most recent matches aren't necessarily fair to him in a lot of ways. So I think there's still from what I've seen out of him as opposed to what I've seen out of Gilchrist.
Mhm.
I
Oh,
prefer,
yeah, there's no question.
I prefer him. That's just call me nuts.
I'm wondering what we're going to see in the back in the centers too. Got
They love Hugh Jones, and actually, I liked what I saw of him when he was playing for Quins last year.
Yeah.
So I could totally get behind that. And and honestly, they're actually a little spoiled for choice because they
are
Red Path, they have Sione Tuipolo.
Yep.
They have some good stuff.
Mhm.
So I like what's going on with that part of their game. Chris Harris obviously is one of the best defensive 13s you could ask for in the world.
Mhm.
So yeah, I honestly make your pick, and it's probably not going to be so bad. This young kid McDowell, I can't say I saw enough of him or any of him to make a judgment call on him. I don't know why the hell Kyle Stain's in there. That doesn't make sense to me.
6'4", 230, son of a.
Who that?
Stafford McDowell.
Oh, damn. Big boy.
Big dude.
Big lad. Hey, big lad.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Okay, then. I'm not getting in the way of that. Fair enough.
No.
Fair enough. All right, let's go to Wales, who have done one better than Steve Borthwick and already named their team for this weekend.
Yep.
And you and I were talking about earlier this morning. I'm excited to see Dyer and Morgan and maybe the Hawkins kid. And after that, it's kind of like just shrug of the shoulders. Like, what am I looking at here?
Why do we need to see Lee Halfpenny?
Yeah, that's a big one for me. I was like, he'll get hurt in the warm up. Don't worry, he'll get hurt in the warm up. And they'll have to call somebody else in.
It's not. No, come the fuck on. This is even worse than Hogg, because when they were at their best, Hogg was much better than Halfpenny, and they're both shit now compared to what they used to be. And so that, to me, it's like, okay, Hogg, and it's really not. It's not that Halfpenny can't really play anymore. It's that he gets hurt putting on his scrum cap. Like a player breathes on him wrong, and my ankle. Like we don't need to see it. And he's not his form hasn't been great either. Like, especially at the international level. I don't need to see it.
Right. I never thought I'd say these words. I actually would prefer to see Alex Cuthbert in this lineup.
I guess.
And
why not?
I never thought I'd say those words, but damn, in terms of what they have available, yeah. Like
who else? I need to see their full squad, because who did they not?
I can tell you in 2 seconds. Let's see. Adams is in. Cuthbert, we know. Dyer is in. Thank God. Halfpenny, we know. North is at center. Zamet's not healthy yet.
Yeah, with Lewis being injured, that hurts.
Yep. And Sanjay, and I don't think he's healthy actually.
Yeah, so
I guess that limits the options.
It does. So
I can bump North out and put Tompkins in at center.
Pretty
honestly.
much,
like really,
yeah.
Because he's gone with Owen Williams as his midfield replacement, which is a little terrifying.
That kind of is too, yeah.
Yeah. Tommy Raffel in there though. Jack Morgan. All right. That'll be interesting to see in the forwards. They have to find an answer for someone not named Ken Owens or Scott Baldwin at hook. And I know Dewey Lake was probably going to be the answer if he hadn't gotten hurt, but shit, you have one answer for the rest. We got this Bradley Roberts kid that they've listed here, and I know it's your first match back, and you want to come out with a W, but maybe rotate one of those guys. and put him on the bench.
Because like, okay, what the fuck is Scott Baldwin giving you? Although, wait, did he play all right recently? I can't recall.
No, he was a
okay.
dink.
All right, then yeah, that was what it was. It was us saying like, well, this is why you're not a Twins anymore. Like,
He was a total dink.
yeah. What do you need to like? Another
he got blown up for not throwing the ball in because he was bitching about the tunnel, and the referee was like, "Nope, throw," and he's like, "I don't want to throw." It's like, great, right. Good luck,
free kick,
free kick. Stupid,
dumbass.
Yeah, no, he does not interest me anymore.
Okay,
so pass.
Yeah, so it's like this is. I get it because you want some veteran hands, but at the same again, Beard and Allen Wynn Jones, besides being good punching partners, meh.
Yeah,
Daffy Jenkins.
I know that's going to be blasphemy to some Wales fans out there, but yeah, I mean, so let's look at their other ones.
Yeah.
So Reese Davis comes in. That's a possibility, but he's got no caps.
Mm-hmm.
David Jenkins is in. He's got like 2, so
right.
That doesn't. But
he's an Exeter lock. He knows how to just.
Crunch. He knows how to do that job. Trust me.
Right. He's not gonna. He won't do anything else, but he can do that job.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Teddy Williams again uncapped. So yeah, he has. Jenkins is the only other cap player that's a lock that they've called in, at least, whether that's due to health or whatever.
Cap, yeah.
And that's it. He's got 1 cap, and everybody else is uncapped.
Yeah, and Chunza's not in this lineup. Like that's a guy I'd take.
Another one, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Totally agree.
Huh. Fascinating.
So,
yeah.
Right.
And I would rather have seen Rafael in for Tipperick, but
same.
I'm kind of on my way out with Tipperick.
I was before, although there was that one game, the 2 games that we got to watch him play in Champions Cup, he did perform quite well. So
he did,
but in his most recent Wales outing,
not good.
Barf.
Yeah,
barf. No bueno.
Yeah, I'm not really impressed. Like, Wales just have so many problems. Like, yeah, they're like, I feel like Italy has. We saw last year, but Italy has kind of surpassed them. Like they have question marks, but man, Wales have some serious question marks. I feel bad for Gatlin having to walk back into it because it's not the greatest situation.
Yeah,
in terms of talent, but then again, that's kind of his fault. So,
right, it didn't really set him up for a whole lot of success.
Right.
And they're the head of the union's been outed or has resigned or whatever. That's also probably not helpful either.
No, there's a lot of shit going on with Wales, and the internal review. We'll see if that's like serious or not.
True. I'm gonna go with no.
We've investigated ourselves and found no wrongdoing.
Yeah, believe it when I see it.
Right. Because that's kind of like, but at the same time, it's becoming public. It's becoming a lot more of an aware, it's in the public awareness. You can't, and yeah.
Yep. All right. So real quick, we'll talk about predictions and then we'll get on to action this past weekend. So are we picking one of the favorites to win this year, or are we going with the dark horse? Right now, most people would put Ireland and France at the top.
I'm going to choose optimism here, in a way, because this isn't just optimism because I favor their squad because I'm familiar with the players, but it's more optimism of this could be good for rugby. If England are a threat suddenly, and so I think if the way things are shaping up, like what I'm seeing already, we're dropping Johnny Hill, dropping the wings that are useless, and bringing in guys who are going to be fucking playmakers. It shows intent that they haven't shown before. Is it going to be enough? I don't know. So I'll just say yes. because I want it to be true. I'm going to try to will it to existence because I think it's good for rugby. So I'm going to say England win.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be a grand slam, but I think they'll win.
Okay.
I think there's enough talent at Ireland and France that butt fuckery will happen and
yeah,
somebody will win without winning all five.
Yep. Possibility. The one thing to keep in mind is no team has ever won the World Cup after winning Six Nations. And obviously only one of them won it, but point being,
I don't think England are going to win the World Cup, but I think they can win Six Nations.
Possibly. Wooden spoon.
Scotland.
Okay. Interesting.
I think Wales still have Scotland.
Yep.
Somehow. I don't know how.
Wooden spoon besides Italy. That's what we're talking about here. Does Italy win another game?
Well, yeah. I mean, I have them as not the wooden spoon. So
okay. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Fun. Where do they play? So they play France at home, Ireland at home. They play Wales at home. That'll be interesting.
Okay. That's probably where they pick up the dub.
Yeah. They play in the Super Weekend. They play at Murrayfield first.
Okay.
Should be interesting.
Oof. So yeah, that Wales. I mean, maybe that's what it is. Maybe like I don't know. Now I'm wondering maybe it will be Wales instead of Scotland. Because it's like I don't see Italy winning, and maybe they could. Fuck it, I'm gonna stick with what I said.
Yep.
Because it doesn't fucking matter anyway. It's just a thought exercise.
Just a thought. Just a prediction. Doesn't mean jack shit. Nostradamus, we are not.
I've thought these things out very thoroughly before and been wrong. So why bother thinking about it? This is just what I see.
That's a fact. All right, let's go to the action from this past weekend in the Premiership. Start with Friday night. Sale and Bath up at AJ Bell, and looked like it was going to be bad news all night.
It really did.
To start.
It did.
And things changed real freaking quick. I mean, 22-10 at halftime. Granted, they got their first try right at the end. There was Annette mulling it over.
That's the important part. You get that, and that makes you think thoughts, right? And this is, if you're not thinking thoughts at half, that's problematic. But that gives you the wait, we can actually do this,
right? And they came out with their hair. Bath came out with their hair on fire. Really, like Spencer turned back the clock and looked in form. Like was everywhere and was a problem for
certainly
the wholesale squad. Sale on the other side did tend to just shoot themselves in the foot a little bit here. Kept balling it here, there, and everywhere. I thought Rob Dupree had a terrible game.
Yeah,
off the tee and otherwise for the most part. Like Jean-Luc had better passing than he did on the day. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like it was really the Bath cards that were the difference ultimately. Because like you can't be playing with 14 for that long, and that's 3 points. Yes, Carpenter got one right after Butt's card. Like it's those little things that are going to make that difference. And playing it, you travel to the AJ Bell. I think we both picked Sale last week.
We did.
And pick them because it's like, well, it's Bath traveling to AJ Bell. What can you really expect? Yeah. So Bath, Sale sailed the shit out of them, and Bath responded. I mean, that's excellent. But at the end, they don't have what it takes yet to win at AJ Bell. That's not a bad thing. There's no shame in that whatsoever.
No, I agree.
But kudos for making it a fight. They could have just packed it and said, "Yeah, not our day, boys," and they didn't. So,
yeah,
good shit.
Right. Redpath was unbelievable once again. Like,
certainly
showed why he's in the Scotland squad and made Rob Dupree and John look real silly in that break. I mean,
yeah.
Let's be real. Anytime Ross looks like he's an idiot because he is an idiot, I'm clapping. I'm just like, yep, that's great. Good stuff. And then down to the end, Orlando Bailey, poor, not trusting inside his defender to get there, and
right,
gave Reed the edge, and that was enough.
Right. That's if you watch that, kids, you gotta at some point, like, and it wasn't. It's such, the margins are small, right? We're not talking about like he really made a huge mistake. He did the right thing. He was in the right position, but he let Reed win. He stayed in that position too long. His inside defender was there to make the play, and he was free to release to the wing, and he waited like a step or two, and that's it. That's all you have. And so I'm that's learning from failure there for him.
Hopefully he does.
That's all that, yeah, because that's if he takes one step outside instead of one more step backwards, he's got that play.
Right. You can tackle him into touch, and the game's over and they win.
Right.
And that really rescued the whole idea for Sale, because they were playing against 13 at one point and did jack shit.
Yeah.
I think they got one score in that time.
We got a penalty.
That was it
at 49 minutes.
I mean, that's one of those things that gave Bath more momentum. Like they came out hot. You didn't need to give them more momentum, especially with that JJ try. Woo.
Yeah.
Hello, Jonathan Joseph. Where you been all my life?
Oh,
God damn.
Yes.
We haven't seen that version of JJ for a while.
We have not. Oh, that was special.
That was good. Yeah. All right, let's go up to the Midlands. Leicester and Northampton. What a doozy this was. This is why you like derbies. This is why. This type of match. This is why you like derbies. No matter what team you're on. Obviously, if you're a fan of either team, this is like heart in your throat type of shit. But if you're a neutral, this is why you love to watch derbies. It's just everything you could ask for in this match in terms of just intensity and great play from two teams that just don't like each other. And
it was a farewell match. Like, there's so much going into this.
Yep. Oh, like, Freddie.
For Freddie, who look, if you weren't tearing up watching him lose his shit on the bench, I don't want to know you. Because that was just like, he takes the coat to hide, and everybody knows what he's doing, and he's just like, I don't want, don't show my face right now. Like, fuck yeah, there's something to it, and we all feel that.
Yep. And he's one of the good guys at rugby, so
really is.
You feel for him, and the match otherwise, Saints a little bit sluggish to start, just the same.
Oh yeah, but
I mean, about 25 minutes to wake up.
That's kind of well. The shocking thing is that they woke up. We've seen them just kind of snooze their way through games this year, and
but if you can't wake up for this game though, like number one, Phil Dowson was going to get sacked. If they got pantsed again this game, like to this team, he would have absolutely been sacked. I don't question it in my mind. Obviously, the defense coach, we know we have issues, but just the same, they had to wake up. They had to wake up in order to save a lot of jobs, honestly. And that was with a lot of guys really making life miserable for them on the other side. Jasper and Montoya, and honestly, Freddie's kicking was actually quite good for the most part too. So he was making life hard on them as well, and you knew it was going to be a tough one right off the bat in terms of, if you're a Saints fan, that cross kick from Pollard right off the money was like, that is picture perfect. That's what you want. Granted, the guy on the other end of it wasn't the best guy to have it, but it was still a great kick. It doesn't take it away from that. Not his fault. The guy on the other side's stupid.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah, I mean, I thought Leicester, though, to me, again, we've been talking about how bad Northampton's defense has been. 18 points at home. just 18 points. Really?
Yeah.
I,
Where
I
was the attack after a while? Like after the first 30 minutes, you know?
yeah. I mean, Potter scored at what 46, but still, like they didn't
Yeah.
really. It was not a. This was a very much so oddly a defensive struggle. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and as you said, with all this, being a derby, like this was a question of who's going to bring the most jam to this, and
Right.
Saints out jammed Leicester, which I don't know. I can't believe that,
Yeah.
but they did.
They
Like I don't
did.
know, like what the hell am I seeing? Um, I thought Aaron Hinkley played a hell of a match. He was hard to miss with that the dome.
The shiny dome.
Yeah.
Well, and
Um,
they definitely got buoyed by Truck coming back as well.
exactly.
That
That
was a big one too.
that helped. And Angus
Um,
Scott Young, I thought had a quality match as
Again,
well.
another guy that we talked about the other week, just
Yeah.
growing and growing every week in this team. And let's go to let's actually on the Aussie note, let's go to the other Australian playing for
Mm-hmm.
Northampton in this game, Ram. It's a yellow. And
Mm-hmm.
the way it's been, let's put it this way: the way it's been refereed recently, it's a yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put it
Yeah.
that way.
Yep.
He absorbed the tackle. Was it a bad tackle? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
High danger, questionable.
Yeah.
The way it's been refereed, it's a yellow.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't. And other than that yellow, I don't know if Ram put a foot wrong.
No.
You
I mean, put a
know,
ball right. That fucking
oh,
offload.
yeah, that one to Slate home. Mwah.
He snuck
Gorgeous.
it through like almost literally through a defender
Mm-hmm.
too, blind. Like he just said, "All right, I'm gonna throw it right here," and like I'm sure he had no idea. I don't know. I can't recall. I don't think he could see where the defender was, but he probably could feel him a little bit, and still just squeezed it right through, and nothing Slate Home could do, but just it's right in my hands. Don't drop it.
I'm right guy on the end of it too with
Yeah.
Slates.
Yeah, because then now in space with what like one defender to beat really, and
Yeah, a lot of moving defenders at that, which makes it a
yeah,
little easier for his sake.
right. He just ran where they weren't.
Yep.
A guy like him can do that.
He can. Who's Alex Mitchell, by the way? I don't know who this character is that they talk about at Northampton, because their scrum half right now is Tom James.
Yeah, he was excellent.
He was really good. You know, looked like he'd been learning a lot from Alex Mitchell, if we're honest.
Likely has.
Yeah, with the foot too. And let's
Mhm.
let's not take that away from him. You know, it's not just that. That's a huge part of the game if you're going to play well as a 9, and he did so well. Furbank was great off the tee as well. Like that's things that they kind of had a little hit or miss sometimes. And I know Finn Smith's really good with it. Furbank's worst match was the other week, and he was awful off the tee. So this makes up for it, I would say, if you're a Northampton fan. Good on him. Good response from him.
And Proctor and Hutch, both with double-digit tackles, each with just one missed tackle. Like that's what
huge.
they've been missing.
Yeah, that's huge. And they had to be big because they don't have Dingwall right now. He's suspended, right. So had to be big.
Right. So they knew they were playing 80 going in, and they rocked it.
They did. Let's go to Barnet. Wow. Yeah, I was worried, but also like never thought we couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm. That's what fucking pissed me off about this, was that I still had to fucking care, because it was still like they could do this.
It was only 8-0 at half, so
right. It's like as shitty as they're playing, and they were playing shitty.
They were.
It was only 8 points.
They were.
Mm-hmm.
Before we dive into the match, you got to give it up for Jack's 300 appearances in the Harry shirt. Like, really not a bad thing to say about the guy. You know, is he beyond the days of being an international player? Yes, but would I trade him for anybody else? Probably not. At the same time,
no, I he's another one of those guys who,
he's certainly the glue,
right?
You know,
he's gonna provide more value than his athleticism alone provides. So it doesn't matter that he's like, it doesn't matter that he's just a step or two slower than he used to be, that, is a little, late getting around sometimes. But again, that, as you said about Hog potentially, like he knows where to, he's going to be a step ahead just because he knows where to be.
Mm-hmm.
So even though he's not as fast as he used to be, he's getting in the right spots. So he might not be picking off passes and taking them to the house like, Ben Earl does now. I mean, he kind of used to sometimes. But he'll still grab he'll still get that ball out of the, if you don't get your support there fast enough, and he'll get it out and somebody else will play it instead.
Absolutely. And I never felt like, and I think most people would agree, it was definitely a tale of two halves for the Saracens.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Bristol ever went up or down per se. I think they stayed the same throughout the whole match.
Agreed.
It was more about what the guys in black were doing in
Agreed.
terms of good or bad. And did the Bears maybe take a little dip towards the end? Yes, of course they did. That's when that happens sometimes when the other team's going up,
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, I would say it was pretty much level play.
Ibitoye got his try at 70 minutes, so it's not as though they really fell off. I don't think. I thought Bristol were still a threat, and it was still. I still thought that they were going to win until
when that Ibitoye try went over, I was like, "Fuck!"
Right.
It's at the end.
Yeah, like, do the Saris have one more in them? Because they're now they're hitting the dregs. Because like, if you've listened to the pod, you know how we feel about Duncan Taylor. I am, and especially after this, if I don't see Duncan Taylor again, I'm okay with it. Like,
I won't be sad.
Yeah, like maybe in a reserve role here and there later in the season. But every time the ball gets to him, something bad happens. Like, that's not a good thing.
Right.
So there's that, and then Hugard coming in at wing. Like, Kitchener got the shit kicked out of him for a half.
He was getting his ass kicked for the whole first half.
Right. There were issues. Yeah, I know. Tizard played really fucking well though. He did. His offloads. He's starting. That's the Hugh Tizard we saw last year with Quinn.
It is.
So that's good. Bomber had to come off a little early. He was kind of screwing up, but Maui had a decent match himself.
Yeah. His slop went off for I think an HIA, but I was like, don't.
That's what it was.
Don't bring him back. Don't bring him back. You can leave him off. I thought he was playing kind of poorly.
He was.
If we're honest.
You're right. And he failed the HIA, or either way they weren't bringing him back.
Well, I think Maui and Clary came in and really solidified that scrum, and it was huge.
Yeah.
Theo Dan eventually got the drills right.
Mm-hmm.
I will say
Piffaletti did okay.
And Piffaletti did all right. I will say for the most part, between Wollstonecroft, Jinx, Theo, and Piffaletti, the open play for the hookers that are at Saracens doesn't drop off a ton between the four of those. What it comes down to is what's going on in the set piece. And we know Piffaletti had struggles. We know Theo Dan has struggles. Wooly and Jinx are money. Right. So it's for the two of them, that is the thing they need to fix the most. Piffletti's a little older, so it might be a little too late for him. Theo Dan clearly has something going on for him because they had him as a back row sub for a little bit here too last few weeks. So remember that. So they clearly believe in his open play. He needs to fix his line out throwing, or he's going to turn into, he's going to be Alfie Barbary. They're going to shift him into the back row, and that'll be the end.
Yeah. And either way, he'll be okay there too. But at the same time, I'd rather have him at hook.
Same. We have enough back rowers. We don't need another one. I'd like to see him step it up at hook and do what he does. But speaking of stepping up, Roddy Shagan just freaking, he knew he needed to put his hand up and say, I am still a part of this fucking team, guys, and you're playing me. And I did it so well.
And I've been critical of others more than him, but I've been critical of Shagan in the past, and fuck this is, if we can see this week in and week out again, like why is Maitland out there? Like,
yeah, true.
You had this in the garage here and you're just bringing him out now. I mean, I get it that it's Six Nations guys, like Maitlands are away, and Maitland, but goddamn, Sagan was better for 80 minutes than Maitland has been for like 5 of his combined minutes. Like he's yeah, ridiculous. 12 carries, 99 yards. The try. Fuck.
Yep. The offload from Good. That was naughty. Naughty. And I thought Manu played really well this game too.
He did.
Wasn't involved in the kicking much, but ball in hand. He showed some real intent. So
he did.
This is what
good teams do. Welcome to Saracens.
Yeah, welcome to Saracens. That's a way to open your account right there. But,
yeah, and Tom Ellis. I know he wasn't exactly like heavily involved, but
we're happy to have him. We need more
certainly.
guys in the engine room there.
Certainly.
But yeah, this is what good teams do. They find ways to win, even in really weird, shitty situations. They get it done, and Saracens did it. So I'm not mad, nor and I really am not ashamed.
was not disappointed to see Thacker gone right after half.
Oh, good lord.
Abatoye was a problem all game. Yeah. Radradra was a problem all game.
As he is.
Yeah. I thought I liked that they kept Batley and Vui mostly silent, and Luatua. So yeah, Max Laheath was problematic though.
Fuck, he was good in the scrum. Agreed.
And he went 75. That's no fucking joke.
Yeah, that's no joke. Let's jump down to Sandy Park real quick, and then we'll go to the Sunday game. And I say real quick, even though the scoreline says, 24-17, but really we only need to talk about the first half, because it was just 2 penalties in the second half that changed things. So
it was even the second half.
Like, really, that was everything. And I think Gloucester had a lot to be happy with in this game, but they got dicked by Exeter, and this is just what they do. It's just how they do it. And if you don't quite have it to stand up to it, you're not going to be able to hang with them, and they couldn't.
Right. And Gloucester are good this year. They're decent, but just like we were saying about Bath going to AJ Bell, going to Sandy Park is not something you don't just walk in and win there. And I feel like they took a pretty pedestrian team. For at least the play was somewhat pedestrian. Seb Atkinson didn't really run. I mean, he had a couple good plays here and there. Yeah. Johnny May had the walk in, but
set up by Thorley.
Yeah, Ackerman was our Metiet Alamano was meh. Tui Sui was physical, but not. They just didn't have that much, dynamic play going for him.
Yeah. Chapman came on, and I thought it was going to be good news, and he struggled.
He did.
Mightily.
He did.
Mightily.
Meehan was shite. Oh, didn't he fucked up didn't he basically gave away a kick, didn't he step in touch or something?
I think so.
Just giving away field position.
Silly.
Right.
Really silly.
Pavaruskin got hurt, which is nobody wants to see.
Nope. No good. No good.
Right.
No good. And for Exeter, we talked about line-out throwing problems. They've got a few of their own. Inard had issues, and so did Dan Frost. So I don't know if this seems to be a common thing across the board too, because even Yandel had some issues the other week. I don't know if their system is.
If it's the jump.
That's what I wonder. Yeah, and maybe that's what it is. The jumps are not getting there when they should be, and because there's a commonality here. It's a matter of who's the culprit. Is it the system? Is it the jumpers? We got 3 hookers that can't hit the damn thing. I'm guessing it's the system or the jumpers.
Right. And look, if there's anybody who's going to jump in and just go straight to it's Rob Baxter's fault, it's going to be me. I don't think so. To me, I think it's just the execution. I think the hookers, these hookers know what the fuck they're doing out there. It's not the coaching, it's the player. Especially when you get down to yeah, Johnny Gray, David Jenkins, they're both technically internationals, but like, Ewers and Kirsten are like,
No.
and Harry Williams has been poop lately too,
Oh, he's
just in
so trash.
general.
He's so
So
trash.
it's yeah. To me, I think it's more like either the timing's off or there's confusion as to who's going, and again, as a hooker, if I see, if I get a call and I'm not really, that tells me what I need to hear.
Mm-hmm.
But all I'm thinking is, okay, thinking about the movement that I'm going to see and the timing of when I throw. And that's so if they're seeing the movement and throwing, something's going wrong in the execution. The right person's not getting lifted at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm seeing because they're,
Right.
they're getting throws, so one case, what didn't somebody just not even lift?
Yeah, there's no lift.
Yeah, that's not the hooker's fault. Like,
No, that is definitely not the hooker's fault. Lift the guys up, dummies. Yeah. Positives for Exeter. Ollie Woodburn's like the one guy that people aren't talking about that could be an England team and isn't.
yeah,
I think I think of the back three players over the last couple of years, he's been the best at Exeter.
I think Hodge is better this year though. But aside from
Hodge
that,
has been amazing since he's gotten his chance, no doubt. Like,
right.
And they did one smart thing and they re-signed him for
Right.
their sake, thankfully. Although I'm sure there would have been another team out there that would have happily taken him off their
Absolutely.
hands.
I would not have minded had Sarries swooped in. Fuck them. Yes, I realized that we've got who's a partner coming in.
We have a
But
plethora of back three players. I think we're
yeah.
good.
Anyway, but yeah, no, Woodburn has been fantastic. Noel and Witten, like, why is Witten out there for 75 minutes? I don't get
know.
that. But yeah,
not in a million years would you convince me to play Ian Witten.
Yeah.
No,
didn't he have a line break though?
Yip-de-doo. Did they just like invite him through the hole?
Probably like, oh fuck, there's no way it's going to Witten. We'll catch him anyway. Let him go. Like,
no shit, right?
cover everyone else. Yeah, like cover Hodge, cover Woodburn. Let if someone's breaking this line, it's going to be Ian Witten.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. All right, let's go to Sunday real quick, and we'll wrap this thing up. London Irish and Quins.
This is a fucking butt kicking.
Absolute shit kicking. Someone's gonna have to tell Michael Dykes that this is not how it works every day.
What?
I mean, he had like the equivalent of a Gordie Howe hat trick, though. Yeah, he had a hat trick and he had a card.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do, man?
Yeah, especially against like this Quins team, even with the guy, some of the guys being gone, it's just no joke. And that's not a bad team he tore up.
No, and obviously he had help.
Yeah, Nick David, what a day! I mean, like Nick David was excellent himself. Like, so it's just one of these that they were active. All these wings were active.
They were. I want to talk about a little bit about the Levis red card. Wasn't red. I don't think anybody would ever argue it. And it's a good point that Matt. This is how you know it must be a really good point. If I'm saying about Matt Carley, with and I know it's like kind of a tendency because of the way some guys tackle. With the fist clenched, it doesn't paint the picture of I'm trying to grab.
Right.
So, and that's what happened with Levis. And with the fist open and maybe a little bit wider of a wingspan there. And I agree. I like the tightness anyway, so that's just me. But with some sort of attempt to grab, it can paint the picture a little bit better. I think you still need to do a lot more to avoid the red card than that.
Yeah, like that.
But I do agree with that. I think that idea could be implanted in players' heads a little bit more.
Yeah,
and that would help.
But it would help with the coaching of. So this was always my favorite kind of ruck, right? This is the ruck where I don't have to do any work because the defender is just laying there. He's made the tackle, but he's just kind of laying on the tackled player. So all I have to do is just gently move him over and hold him down, and nobody can do shit. like, like especially with I'm a prop, so nobody's coming through that anyway. Like in general, but like at that point, if I'm a defender seeing someone like me in that position, I'm like, yeah, I'll get the next one. Like this ruck is one. That's it. And instead, he's in this. I have to punish this. I have to hit this person, and you don't have to. Like not every time.
Mm-mm.
And that's to me why it's reckless. It's like you're going in for a shot because hey, free hit on someone. And then he ends up, as you said, he has a close fist. He ends up punching his own teammate, like right in the chest.
Also
like,
not awesome.
Good fucking job, dude. You get a red card and you punched your teammate. Like, well fucking done. Yeah, no, that was not. I didn't like that.
Poor.
Yeah,
very poor. Couple notes on the Exiles back row, and then we'll wrap things up here. Cunningham South finally gets his shot and needs a little bit of fine tuning and a little bit of polishing, but performs well overall. I don't think there's anybody that would deny that.
Impact player,
big time.
There's whatever else, whatever mistakes he made, here and there, he made an impact. And like when he got the ball, you had to pay attention. Or when he was around the ball, you had to suddenly be like, okay, something. And it's easy to see him. Like the hair makes him very easy to spot. Like something cool is about to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's
11 tackles. You didn't miss any of them.
I love.
So
only 17 meters on 5. But he did do a lot of the pick and go and a lot of the hard meters. But
damaging just the same.
Absolutely. I mean, he's scored a try. Like, yeah.
Yeah, looked a threat all over the place. And
Pearson back there too.
And on Tom Pearson, like of the guys that are that aren't in the squad, like he's got to be like the next name on the list. No, like he's been playing so well. Like he's got to be there. Like maybe he's not right. Maybe he's not the next name, but man, so close. He's been so good.
I feel like he's where Dombrandt has been there, where it's like everybody, and like this is maybe Dombrandt of like 3 or 4 years ago, maybe longer than that, when it was like, is he ready yet? More than anything, because I feel like he's playing. Pearson's now kind of playing as much as Dombrandt was back, as I said, a couple years ago. And it's really a question of, okay, like, let's see him keep consistently at this one. Like, I would definitely, he's another one I'd be looking at for 27. Like,
yeah. Oh, totally.
He could be,
absolutely.
He could be something extremely special.
19 tackles, no misses.
Shut up.
And scored and did what he did on the attack.
Dude, go.
4 turnovers, 1. He was a monster. He was a monster. If Michael Dykes doesn't score a hat trick, this kid's the player of the match.
Easily. Although Stokes also had
actually, I was impressed with Stokes. I was like,
yeah,
is this the right James Stokes? Are we sure about this? Because I don't see the pile of trash that I usually see with him, his name on it.
This is why I like James Stokes, because every so often you see this, and it's like, it's just one of those, he needs to make this happen consistently, because as you said, there's way too much of that pile of trash out there. But damn, it does help. He just fit right in with, especially with both those wings, having slightly different styles, but he worked well with both of them.
And Aaron Dell came back too.
And he didn't score a try. Like he got 1 touch, and then
he didn't score with it. Damn.
How many
carries? He had 7 carries.
Wow, and he didn't score a try.
Right.
Damn.
Everything he touched seems to turn to gold.
It does. So, well, yeah, it was nice. Even though he was, mortal, he's still coming back from injury. So you got to give him a break. Yeah, right.
All right, cool. All right, that's this one. Sorry it went so long, but we had a lot to talk about. Six Nations, all that stuff. We haven't been able to talk about it for a little while. I'm glad we did it on this one and not any of the previous two, because it would have been way worse. Way worse. So I'll put time codes in this. So hopefully if you're listening, you saw them and found use of them. fantasyrugbypodcast@gmail.com. If you have any questions, if you're coming over to the Fantasy Corner, we'll see you there. If not, we appreciate you all for listening and your support. Enjoy the opening round of Six Nations. Go out there and enjoy it with your friends. Head to the pubs. We'll see you all soon. Have a good one, everyone.
Later.
Yep.